machines and everything, types, functions, base, everything. So now we are on to the various work holding devices. Now we are basically into the various work holding devices in the case of drilling machine. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Oh, fine. Okay. Okay. So now, as you have studied in lathes, planing, slotting, all machines, we are discussing about work holding devices. That's both in the offline and the online classes. Now, in the case of drilling machines, okay, in the case of drilling machines, we have told the various work holding devices. What is the purpose of a work holding device? Can anyone of you say? As you might be knowing, because in lathe, in all the purpose we have machine, we have told about the work holding devices. So, can anyone of you say what is the main purpose of a work holding device? Any one of you, can you just give me an answer? What is the main purpose of a work holding device?
To hold the workpiece steadily.
Yeah, that's what. Yes, sir. To hold the workpiece firmly on the machine table. That's the main thing. Thank you, Rahul. So this is what comes in the case of a work holding device. So come now, let's have just an outlook of work holding device and the twist nomenclature. By this, we will be almost completing the first module. Okay. So now we are in the work holding devices where the work should be, what's the main purpose of work holding devices? The work should be held firmly on the machine table. So here the work will be always held. You can see the figure also. It should be the work holding device should be held firmly on the machine table before performing any operation on it, as the drill exerts very high quantity of torque while rotating, as you can see in the figure, where the work hold is held in a vise and the drill, with the help of drill bit, we are making a hole on the workpiece with the required dimensions and everything. So here what we say is the work should be held firmly on the machine table before performing any operation on it, as the drill exerts a very high quantity of torque while rotating, and the work should not be held by hand. And the device used for holding the work in a drilling machines are, just note it down. First one is a drill vise. Okay. Second one is T bolts and clamps. Third one is step block. Fourth one is V block. And fifth one is angle plate. The sixth one is drill jigs. So these are the main things. Okay. So we can see the drill vise or the vise on the table, the first figure. Okay. Okay. This is the drill vise, where what happens? Vise is the most important device used for holding the workpieces on a drilling machine table. As you see in your workshop, you can see the vise, which is widely available in our laboratory also. You can see the vise which is very widely available in the laboratory. As in your first year also, might have seen various types of vise according to the purpose. So it is mainly used to hold the workpiece firmly for doing any such operations, in order to, because a heavy amount of load has been applied to the workpiece, so it should not move. It should be in a steady state while the load is being applied on it for various operations. It might be drilling, it might be cutting operations, slotting, any operations. Okay, that's what. So now in the case of drill vise, what is this? Vise is one of the important devices used for holding the workpiece and on a drilling machine table. The work is clamped between a fixed jaw and a movable jaw. Always the work will be clamped between a fixed jaw and a movable jaw. Parallel blocks are placed below the work so that the drill may completely pass through the work without damaging the table. Okay, that's what happens. Parallel work are also be drilled, are placed below that workpiece. Okay, parallel blocks are placed below the workpiece. Why? In order to, in order to what? In order to prevent damaging from the work table, because the work is clamped between a fixed jaw and movable jaw, and the parallel blocks are placed below the work so that the drill may completely pass through the work. Okay, there are sometimes in some cases the drill may completely pass through the work and it may damage the working table. So in order to avoid that, we keep an extra things. Okay, now different types of vices are used for holding different types of work, for performing different operations. Now we come to the purpose of like T bolts and clamps. Okay, now we come to the purpose of T bolts and clamps. C clamp, V clamp, okay, and T bolts and clamps. Okay, so in the case of T bolts and clamps means, okay, the both T bolts and clamps means the workpiece can be held directly on the machine table. Okay, here the workpiece can be held directly on the machine table by means of T bolts and clamps. The top of the machine table has T slots into which the T bolts may be fitted. That's what happens. Now the clamps are always of mild steel. Okay, I have told the properties of mild steel, what is the purpose and what is the carbon content, what are properties we have to consider in the case of mild steel while taking for lathe operation. All this we have discussed. So now because the clamps are made up of mild steel, the clamp is made to rest horizontally on the work surface. Always, in the case of T-slog, the clamps are made to work horizontally on the work surface. Okay, on the horizontally on the work surface, the clamps are made. Then the workpiece. That's what happens. Okay. So the clamps are made horizontally to work on the workpiece by placing a suitable step block at the other end of the work, by keeping a suitable step block on the other end of the work. This is the main purpose for which T-bolts and clamps are used for the bolting. Now comes the V block. Okay, V block and clamp. So it is mainly used for holding cylindrical workpieces. Okay, it is mainly used for holding cylindrical workpieces. As you can see in the figure, it is mainly used for holding cylindrical workpieces where the work may be supported on 2 or 3 V blocks. Well, mainly what happens is the work may be supported on 2 or 3 V blocks according to the length of the work. It's mainly according to the length of the work. That happens in the case of V block. V blocks are used for holding, main point is cylindrical workpieces. Please note down, holding cylindrical workpieces. Okay. And the work may be supported on 2 or 3 V blocks. And the work may be supported on 2 or 3 V blocks according to the length of the work. It is mainly according to the length of the work. It is mainly according to the length of the work. Where the work is held on the V groove and is clamped by straps and bolts. Where the work is held on the V groove and is clamped by straps and bolts. They are made of cast iron or steel and are accurately machined. It's mainly made of cast iron or steel. According to the purpose, it is always made of cast iron or steel. Okay, so the purpose it's always made of cast iron or steel. Okay, it is made of cast iron or steel according to the requirement. Okay, they are made of cast iron or steel and accurately machined. That's what happens in the case of what V block. Now comes the angle plate. Okay, now comes the angle plate. What do you mean by the angle plate? Angle plate have two faces at right angle to each other. Angle plates are mainly having two faces at a right angle to see the right angle at right angle to the each other. This is the right angle. Okay, at a right angle to each other. So angle plates have two faces at right angle to each other and are always made of cast iron. It is always made of and are always made of cast iron. That's what happens. All the sides of the all the sides of an angle plate are machined accurately. Okay, all the sides, yes, all the sides of an angle plate are machined accurately. That's what happens in the case of angle plate. So in angle face, we have two faces at right angles to each other, and all the sides of the angle plate are machined accurately. Okay, that's what happens in the case. And slots and holes are provided on both the faces of the angle plate, and the work is clamped on one face with bolts and nuts. Now comes the drill jig. Okay, drill jigs. Okay, now comes the drill jigs. What do you mean by drill jigs? Drill jigs are used for mass production process. It is mainly used for mass production. Is mainly used for mass production process. What the drill jigs? Okay, the drill jigs are mainly used for mass production process. What's the purpose? A jig is specially used to hold the workpiece securely to do and to guide the tool at any desired position. To guide the tool at any desired position. These are the main things of the tool holding devices. Then, okay, okay. Then here after this, in the terms of terms, the main size of the layer, there are various aspects of drilling machine. Mainly the specification of drilling machine. According to specification of drilling machine, it is mainly developed the size of the drilling machine. That's the maximum size of the drill that the machine can operate, then the diameter of the table, then maximum travel of the spindle, number and range of spindle speeds, floor space required. All these are the major clarifications and specifications of a drilling machine. That means, and if you go for buying if you go for buying a drilling machine in a shop, you should have a basic idea of what is the maximum size of the drill that the machine can operate. What's the requirement? Okay, that's the maximum size of the drill that the machine can operate. Then what it should be the diameter of the table which is used, then maximum travel of the spindle. What is the maximum travel of the spindle? Then numbers and ranges of spindle speeds also. The numbers and ranges of spindle speeds also. Then floor space required. Then power input. All these aspects comes in the case of a mainly in the case of a size of a drilling machine and specification of a drilling machine. Now this is what happens. Okay. Now we will be discussing about the various tool holding devices in the case of machine. Okay, various tool holding devices. Okay, we will be discussing about the various tool holding devices in the case of drilling machine. Okay, what are the various tool holding devices? Now, in the case of tool holding devices means the tool holding devices are used for performing different operations. They are fitted into a drill spindle by different methods. Okay, they are always fitted into the drill spindle. I hope so. This is the drill spindle. Okay, and this is the nut. Okay, so now the different tools are used for performing different operations, and they are fitted into the drill spindle by different methods. First one, they are directly fitted in the spindle or by a sleeve, by a socket, by a chuck, or by tapping attachment. All these are used. Okay, check. Everything is being used for the purpose of the tool holding devices. Okay, in order to fix the drill bit. Okay. Now the first case we can say is spindle. Okay. The first case we can say is a spindle. Okay. So these are the drill bits, everything. But in the case of tool holding devices, okay. Previously, don't get confused. Previously, we were talking about the work holding devices. Now we are talking about tool holding devices. Work holding is always on the table, and the tool is always on the we're on the spindle. Okay, that's what. Now the tool holding devices. Now, what is first one is a spindle. Spindle is what? Almost all drilling machines have the spindle board out at the standard taper of 1:20 degree. Okay, that's what happens. Okay, I hope so. You have seen the drilling machine figure in the last class in the PPT itself. Now we are saying about the spindle. If you have drawn the figure, just look over it. Almost all drilling machines have their spindle bored out to a standard taper. How much? It is 1:20 to receive the taper shank of the tool. While fitting the tool, the shank of the drill or any other is forced into a taper hole and tool is gripped by friction. What that happens? So I hope so. You remember the shank, everything, which is on the lathe topic. To receive the taper shank of the tool, while fitting the tool, the shank of the drill or any other tool is forced to taper. The tool may be removed by pressing the taper, which known as drift, in the slotted hole of the spindle. So, what is the main purpose of the spindle? The main purpose of the spindle is to hold the tool. That's what, to ensure a positive time. So, in order to have a proper taper everything, we have a spindle bore out of standard taper, which is 1:20 degree. Sorry, 1:20. Sorry, 1:20 only to receive the taper shank of the tool. Okay. While the tool may be rotated with a spindle by friction between the tapered surface and the spindle. While the same tool may be rotated with the spindle by the friction between. Okay. Please note down, by the friction between the tapered surface and the spindle. Okay, it's always by the friction between the tapered surface and the spindle. That happens in the case of a spindle. Now, in the second case, it is always a sleeve. Okay, you're seeing the drill sleeve, like a sleeve. The drill spindle is suitable for holding only one size of tool shank. Okay, the drill spindle is suitable for holding only one size of tool shank. So, if the shank of the tool is smaller than the taper in the spindle hole, a taper sleeve is used. Okay. So, according to the purpose, in order to hold different types. The outside taper of the sleeve conforms to a spindle taper, and the inside taper holds the shank of the smaller size tools. So, the sleeve has a flattened end or a tang which fits into slot as well. So, different size of tool shanks may be held in spindle by using different size drill sleeves. That's what happens in the sleeve. The sleeves means different size of the tool shanks may be held. Okay, you can have different size of the tool shank may be held in the spindle by using different sizes of drill sleeves. That's what happens. Okay, you can have various types of tool shanks which may be held in the spindle by using different size of the drill sleeves. In a normal spindle, we have a very specific diameter tool which can be used. But when it comes to sleeve, the main thing is that the drill spindle is suitable for holding not only one size of tool shank, but here we can hold different size of the tool shanks may be held in the spindle. Okay, here different size of tool shanks may be held in the spindle by using different sizes of drill sleeves. That's what, mainly by using different sizes of drill sleeves. This is what happens in the case of a sleeve. Then comes the drill socket. Okay, then it mainly comes the drill socket. What do you mean by about the drill socket? In the case of a drill socket, as you can see the figure, the drill socket is what? The drill socket are much longer in size than the drill sleeves. Even compared to the drill sleeve, the top figure, you can see the drill sockets are much longer in size than the drill sleeve, where a socket consists of a solid shank attached to the end of the cylindrical body, where the socket is available which consists of a solid shank. A socket consists of a solid shank attached to the end of a cylindrical body. It is mainly attached to the end of the cylindrical body. It is mainly attached to the end of the cylindrical body. That's what happens. The drill sockets are much longer in size than the drill sleeves, where a socket consists of a solid shank, where always the socket consists of a solid shank attached to the end of the cylinder body, where socket to provide more flexibility when adapting to various type per sizes of drill shank. What is the main purpose of the drill socket? Is to provide more flexibility, provides more flexibility when adapting to various taper sizes of drill shank. That's what happens. Okay, so the the taper shank of the socket conforms to the taper of the drill spindle and fits into it. That's what happens. So comparatively, the drill socket is much larger, much longer than the drill sleeves. Then it consists of a solid shank at the attached end of the cylindrical body. Okay, then socket to provide more flexibility when adapting to various taper sizes of drill shank. That may happen in the case of drill socket. Okay, now that may happen in the case of drill socket. Then comes, okay, the various types like drill drift. Okay, drill drifts. And before that, we can come to a drill chuck. Drill chuck. Okay, drill chuck, Okay, this is the where the spindle has been placed. So the chucks are especially intended for holding smaller size drills or any other tools. Okay, mainly the drill chucks are mainly used for intent for holding smaller size drills or any other tools. So this type of chuck is particularly adapted for holding tools having straight shanks. Remember, so the drill chucks are mainly used for the tools holding have very straight shanks, where it consists of a sleeve, key, body, jaws, drill chuck. So these are the main things. So the drill chucks are especially intended for holding smaller size drills. Okay, for holding mainly for smaller size drills. Okay, for mainly for holding smaller size drills. The drill chucks are mainly intended for holding smaller size drills. That's what happens. Then this type of chuck is particularly adapted for holding tools having straight shanks. It is mainly used for adapted for holding tool straight shanks. Then the most common type of drill chuck used is three-jaw self-centering drill chuck. Remember, three-jaw. This we have already discussed in the lathe in the sort of type of jaws, everything. I hope so you remember. No, the most common type of drill chuck used is the three-jaw self-centering drill chuck. Okay, the three-jaw self-centering drill chuck. Now it comes with the tapping attachment. Okay, now it comes with the tapping attachment. So what do you mean by tapping attachment? It serves as a flexible connection between the spindle and the tap. The tapping attachment means it serves as a flexible connection. Okay, tapping attachment. It serves as a flexible connection between the spindle and the tap. That's what happens in the case of tapping attachment. In the case of tapping attachment, it serves as a flexible connection between the spindle and the tap. No, sorry, it is mainly the flexible connection, and the taper shank of the attachment is fitted into the drill spindle, and always the taper shank is always fitted into the drill spindle. So what is the main purpose of tapping attachment? It is mainly used during heavy amount of production work. Okay, it is mainly used for using heavy amount of production work, and the bottom of the attachment can rotate in anti-clockwise direction, which causes no damaging to the taper hole. That's the main functionality of a tapping attachment, where it can be used during heavy amount of production work, and at the same time the taper shank attachment is fitted on the drill spindle. It's always fitted on the drill spindle. Okay, and it is always attached to the bottom of the attachment. It happens. Okay, this is what happens. So it is mainly used for mass production. Then comes the drill drifts. Then comes the drill drifts, where drill drifts are flat tapered keys with one rounded edge that are designed to fit in the spindle chuck slot to force a tapered shrink drill nose. Okay, the drill will fall quickly if not held in the hand by the hand, or could break or cause injury. This is what happens in the case of a drill drifts. So drill drifts are mainly flat tapered keys with one round edge that are designed to fit into a spindle chuck slot. You see the drill bit. This is what has the drill drift. It has got a small curvature or angle. That's what happens. So in the cases, what means drill drifts are flat. Okay, mainly the drill drifts are flat tapered keys. Okay, drill drifts are mainly flat. The drill drifts are flat tapered keys with one rounded edge. It is mainly with one rounded edge. One rounded edge that are designed to fit into a spindle chuck. Okay, so the tap is fed into a specific hole by a spindle rotating in the clockwise direction. Remember, the tap is fed into the specific hole. The tapping adjustment is fed into the specific hole by the spindle rotating in its clockwise direction. But after the threads are cut, the spindle is released from the hole. So after the threads are cut, automatically the spindles are released from the hole. That's what happens in the case of tapping attachment. But in the case of drill bit, what happens? It's a flat tapered keys with round edge. Okay, flat tapered keys with round edge. Then the drill will fall quickly if not held by the hand and could break or cause injury. That's what happens in the case of drill drips. So these are the various tool holding devices. Okay, so these are the various tool holding devices. Okay. Now, can anyone of you say what are the major different methods for holding tool holding devices? Any one of you? Can any one of you say what are the various methods? Okay, just name it, nothing else. I have been talking about 15 minutes in the class about the various tool holding devices. Previously, I told about the various work holding devices. Now I am asking about various tool holding devices. That's what in the case of drilling machines. So you should have a very clear cut idea of the various work holding and tool holding devices for all the operations before drilling, shaping, planning, lathe, everything you have. But most of them has most common points. But in certain cases, the specific of the topics will be different. So by writing the answer, you should have a basic idea of all these aspects of all the operations with various work holding devices and tool holding devices. Work means on the table, tool means on the spindle. That's what can for timing you can know it in this way. So I'll just round up by directly fitting the spindle, by a sleeve, by a socket, by a chuck, and tapping attachment. All these are the various tool holding devices commonly employed. Now we will tell about. We know drilling means we have a drill bit. We have a drill bit. So what's a drill bit? And mainly we commonly employ a twist drill bit that we have already have a basic idea. But I'll just say what is my drill bit. So we come to the end of an topic of what work hold device. Now we are coming. Now we are sorry tool holding devices. Now we go to the drill bit nomenclature. It is mainly, especially in the case of what in the case of drilling. Okay, so now this is the drill bit. I hope so. I have told you to draw the figure previously, so you have been drawn the notebook. You just check it out. The previous starting itself you have drawn. So just have a look over it. That's it. Now now we'll come with the drill bit nomenclature. So we'll firstly discuss about what is the types and what is the purpose, like body, shank, neck, land or margin, chisel edge, cutting edge, heel, point angle, helix angle, all that parts. All what I'm explaining can be seen in this figure. Okay, what all I'm explaining can be seen in this figure. In the case of a in the case of a twist drill nomenclature. Okay, the case of a twist drill nomenclature. So now we will be saving about the twisted drill nomenclature, the drill bit. First one is the body. Okay, you can see first one is the body, BODY. You can see in the figure itself, body. Okay, body. The body of the twisted drill spiral grooves cut on it. Okay, it is mainly consisted of the grooves cut on it. You see the grooves, small grooves cut on it. Okay, the grooves serve to offer clearance to the chips formed at the cutting edge. What is the main purpose of the groove? The main purpose of the groove is to offer clearance to the chips. Okay, mainly the clearance to the chips formed at the cutting edge. It's mainly due to the clearance to the chips formed at the cutting edge. Then what happens is the body of the drill spiral grooves cut on, and the grooves serve to offer clearance to the chips formed on cutting on it. Then they also permit the cutting fluid to spread the cutting edges. They also permit the cutting fluid to spread to the cutting edges. That's what happens in the case of a twist drill nomenclature. And what happens is the body of the twist drill spiral grooves cut on it, and it gives a clearance to the chips formed on cutting edge. And they also permit the cutting fluid to spread to the cutting edges. It also helps to permit the cutting fluid. It also helps to permit the cutting fluid. Okay, cutting fluid to spread to the cutting edges. The second one is the shank. Okay, second one is the shank. You see the figure? You can see the next bit. This is the body. This is the body, and now you can see the shank. This is the shank. Okay, that's the shank. So it is the part that gets fitted into the drill chuck or sleeve. See, it is a part which is it was a part that gets fitted into the drill chuck or sleeve, and the tapper shank brings the tank to the end of the shank, and this fits into a slot in the machining spindle, sleeve or socket, and gives a positive grip. This is what you name it as a shank. That it is a part that gets fitted into the drill chuck or sleeve. Okay, it is mainly the part that gets fitted into the drill chuck or the sleeve, and the tapper shank brings the tank to the end of the shank, and the tapper shank gives the tank to the end of the shank. This fits into a slot in the machining spindle, sleeve or socket, and gives a positive grip. That's what happens in the case of a shank. So it is a part that gets fit into the drill chuck or sleeve. The taper shank brings the tank at the end of the shank. See, the tank, this can, it's a curved. See, a clockwise, a small curve is there, not sharp. Small curve is there in the tank. So that's what happens. The taper shank brings the tank at the edge of the shank, and this fits into a slot in the machining spindle, sleeve or socket, and gives a positive grip. Then comes the what? Then comes the neck, NE. CK. Okay. Then comes the neck. Neck. It is the undercut portion between the body and the shank. Okay. Neck is the undercut portion between the body and the shank. Okay. That's what happens in the case of neck. It is the undercut portion. Okay. Small portion where it forms the body. This is the okay. This is the body and this is the shank. This is the undercut portion. Okay. That's what we name it as neck. Okay. That's what happens. Then land or margin. Next one is land or margin. Okay. This is the see. This is the margin and this is the land. Land or margin. It is a narrow strip. It's mainly a very narrow strip. It ranges back on the edge of the drill fluids. Okay. It mainly ranges on the back of the edge fluids. See, this is the fluid. The figure you can see this is the fluid. So what happens is land or margin. It is a narrow strip. It is always a narrow strip. It ranges back on the edge of the drill fluids, and land retains the drill align, and always the land helps in retaining the drills align. That's what happens in the case of land or margin. That is, it fits into the slot of a machine spindle. It always fits into a spot of the machine spindle. Okay, so it is a mainly the land or margin. It is a narrow strip. Okay, and it narrow strip. It ranges back on the edge of the drill fluids. It ranges back on the edge of the drill fluids. That's what happens in the case of a land or margin. So it's a narrow strip. Edge of the it ranges from back to edge drill fluids. Then land retains the drill align. It mainly the land always retains the drill align. Then comes with the chisel edge. Okay. Then comes with the chisel edge. You can see in the figure. This is the chisel edge. Chisel edge is what? The intersection of the flank. The intersection of a flank forms the chisel edge. Okay. The intersection of a flank forms the chisel edge. This acts as a flat drill. It mainly acts as a flat drill. Then it cuts a small hole in the workpiece at the beginning. Okay, this is what happens. So this is the intersection of the flank, forms the chisel edge. This acts as a flat drill. It mainly acts as a flat drill. Then it cuts a small hole in the workpiece of the beginning. Okay, that's what happens in the case of a chisel edge. Means the intersection of the flank forms the chisel edge. Mainly the intersection of the flank forms the chisel edge. Then this acts as a flat drill. It mainly acts as a flat drill. Then it cuts a small hole in the workpiece at the beginning. It mainly cuts a small hole in the workpiece at the beginning. Then cutting edge removes further materials to complete the hole. Okay, cutting edge removes further material to complete the hole. This is what happens the case of chisel edge. Means the intersection of flank forms the chisel edge. Okay, mainly chisel edge means the intersection. So the intersection of a flank forms the chisel edge, and this acts as a flat drill, and this acts as a flat drill. Then it mainly acts as a flat drill. You see, it acts as a very flat drill over here, and it cuts a small hole in the workpiece at the beginning. It helps in cutting a small hole in the workpiece at the beginning. Then the cutting edges remove further materials to complete the hole. Then the cutting edges present will remove the further materials to complete the hole. Then comes the cutting edge. Okay. Then comes the cutting edge. Cutting edges means the cutting edges of a drill are known as lips. Okay. Mainly the cutting edge of the drill. See, this is the cutting edge, which is known as lip. Okay. And then lip. Now it comes with the heel. 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 Okay. Now it comes with the heel. 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 Okay. So you see the heel here. Okay. This is the heel. Okay. Now heel means what? The edge which is formed by the intersection of fluid surface and the body clearance. It is mainly the edge which is formed by the intersection of fluid surface and body clearance. It's mainly the intersection, the edge which is formed by the intersection of fluid surface and body clearance. It's mainly between the fluid surface and body clearance. That's what happens in the case of heel. Then the third one comes the point angle. Okay. Then the third one. Okay. Then the third one comes as the point angle. Okay, point angle. So now comes the point angle is it is the angle between the cutting edges. It is always an angle between the cutting edges. Okay, it is always the angle between the see this is the point angle and this is the angle. Okay, you mentioned the angle between the cutting edges. Okay, it is generally 118 degrees. Please note it down. It is generally 118 degrees. Okay, but value might depends upon the hardness of the workpiece to be drilled, but it may vary. The value mainly depends upon the hardness of the workpiece to be drilled, according to what is the type of material to be drilled, or what is the purpose to be drilled, or what is the purpose of hole to be drilled. All that factors has to be considered before having the point of cutting edges. So now for harder material, larger angles are used. So automatically for larger materials, larger angles are used. Then comes the helix angle. Okay. Then comes the helix angle. So we are talking about the point angle, helix angle, lip angle, then chisel edge angle, rack angle, everything is there. But now we are talking about the helix angle. So a helix angle is angle between the leading edge of the land and the axis of the drill, also called as rack angle. Okay. So what do you mean by rack? So you can say helix angle means angle between the leading edge of the land. Okay. It is always the angle between the leading edge of the land. Okay. Rack angle is or rack angle, or you can name it as helix angle, where the angle between the leading edge of the land and the axis of the drill. It's mainly on the axis of the drill, which is also called as rack angle. It is also called as rack angle. Then comes the lip clearance angle. Then comes the lip clearance angle. It is the angle formed by the portion of the flank. It is mainly the angle. Okay, it is always mainly the angle formed by the portion of the flank. It is the angle for the portion of the flank adjacent to the land and a plane at right angles to the drill axis measured at the periphery of the drill. This is what happens in the case of a lip clearance angle, where it is the angle formed by the portion of the flank. It is always the angle formed by the portion of the flank adjusted to the land. It is always the angle formed by the portion of the flank adjusted to the land and a plane at right angles to the drill axis measured at the periphery of the drill. That's what happens in the case of lip clearance angle. It is the angle formed by the portion of the flank adjusted to the land and a plane at right angles to the drill axis measured at the periphery of the drill. Then comes the chisel edge angle. It is obtuse angle between the chisel edge and the lip. That is the chisel angle, and it is obtuse angle between the chisel angle. So now this comes the various twist drill nomenclature and the drill nomenclature of a basic idea of the basic idea of drill nomenclature. So these were the various angles: clearance angle, rack angle, wedge angle, point angle, and all these angles has been taken for consideration at the time of drilling operations. Okay, at the time of drilling operations, only then it can be what? Only then it can be cutted in the proper dimensions required. Okay, only then it can be cutted in the very proper dimensions required in order to have proper drill holes and other modern devices. Now we have already discussed which consider of all this the machining timing in drilling. So what do you mean by the machining timing in drilling? Please look in the notes, and anyone can you tell me what do you mean by machine time in drilling? What are the aspects in the machine timing in drilling? Only just 3 aspects. Any one of you? Can you tell me? What are the machining parameters? We have already discussed since in the case of drilling itself. So I just want to know whether you have an idea. That's what. Machining timing or machining parameters we have discussed long before. In offline classes, you have written in your notebook the points. Please turn the page, you will see it. Fine, okay. Machining time in drilling is first one is cutting speed, second one is feed, third one is depth of cut. Now, can any one of you say me the cutting speed equation?
V is equal to pi dn by 1000.
Okay. V is equal to pi dn by 1000. Okay, that's it. Okay. Thank you. Who is it? ആരാ പറഞ്ഞത്?
Nishag.
Nishag. Thank you, Nishag. So I have already told that this is the machine time in drilling. The same thing, cutting speed is equal to V is equal to pi dn by 1000, where we are not writing down. It's already we have discussed. Then the feed. Feed is what? Always the feed in drilling refers to distance moved by the drill in one revolution. Okay, it is always the distance moved by the drill in one revolution. And now everything is there. Okay, now the depth of cut. Can anyone of you tell me the depth of cut? I have told equation in the case of depth of cut. Okay, no need to look. I'll tell you. Depth of cut is equal to capital D by 2 mm. Okay, that's capital D by 2, where capital D is the dia of the drill. This is all I have explained. I have told before in offline classes. Please look on the notebook. You might have written somewhere in the notebook. I have written on the board also. Okay, so these are the measuring times in drilling, where we have aspects like cutting speed, feed, and depth of cut. Okay, all this comes into rate. And material removal rate. What is the material removal rate? It is always the feed in the minimum revolution. That is the dia of the drill. It is always respected to the dia of the drill. So all this has comes into consideration in the case of drilling aspects. Okay, in the case of drilling aspects. In the case, the same case, we had a boring also. So boring is just a case of drilling, which we have already explained in the class. Okay. So if you have aspects in drilling, the same way you can have boring. Okay, that's what. Not the same way. This is slight change. Please look into your notebook. Okay, so we have discussed about the cutting forces. So I'll have a sum up of all the topics. So in the case of drilling, we had a drilling. What is a drilling machine? What is the purpose of a drilling machine? Then drill bit nomenclature, the cutting forces in drilling, then the tool holding the tool holding device in drilling, then work holding. Okay, then the various machine types of drilling. All these aspects comes in the case of drilling. So by by this we almost come into end of our syllabus. Okay, so hope so everyone is right. So just note it down. Cutting forces in drilling. Okay. Last one is the cutting forces in drilling. This also I have already told. Okay. Cutting forces in drilling. Cutting forces in drilling. So in the case of cutting forces in drilling is what? We have only two forces. Mainly one is the torque, a force in the opposite direction to the actual drill rotation direction. That is the torque. And the second one is the force in the opposite direction to the direction of the field. That is the thrust force. Okay. So one will be having the torque and the second one will be thrust force. So all these are the cutting forces in drilling. Only two forces in drilling, only two forces are experienced. The forces are varying according to workpiece characteristics and cutting conditions applied. So in the case of cutting forces in drilling, we mainly two forces are experienced, where one is the thrust force, the second one is the torque, and it is always related to, okay, and it is always related to the various operations. That's what happens in the case of cutting forces in drilling. Okay, like this we are completing our first module as per the syllabus. Okay, I'll just take the attendance 1 second.